At the beginning of this movie, we see a woman whose name is Melena, who is very beautiful in appearance. Melena lives in a small town, and she is the most beautiful woman in this town. And every man living in this city likes her so much. And every man in this city wanted Melena to be his. But the other women of this city feel jealous about her, and they want to be like Melena. And we see, there is a boy named Renato in this town. He is much younger than Melena. And one day Renato takes a new bicycle, and he goes to show his friends. Then his friends say while talking to him, "We have heard that Melena is about to pass through here." And all these people wanted to see her, and so they sat in one place. At the same time Melena starts passing by, and these people see her. When Renato sees her for the first time, he keeps looking at her, and he couldn't take his eyes off on her. When Melena leaves from there, then these people start following her again. These men keep chasing her, until Melena reaches inside the city. Then we see that Melena's father is a teacher. He was teaching students in his school. And these people are sitting in their classrooms. And these people keep talking about Melena in different ways. And these people are also troubling Melena's father. After class, Renato goes to Melena's house and looks at her. And Melena is lying sad at home. Here we find out that Melena's husband accompanied the army during the war. Until now he hasn't come back. On the other side, we see Renato and his friend. "Who are you talking about, Melena?" Renato's friend tells him. "Once Melena asked me to get her a cigarette." And the rest of the town also used to say, "Melena is not a good woman." And various things have been spread in the society regarding Melena. After that we see, Renato has started liking Melena a lot. Renato hears these things from many people. That Melena is not a good woman. And talks openly to everyone. Now slowly Renato also starts fantasizing about Melena. And now he starts thinking about Melena with him. Now Renato wanted to live like an adult, but in reality he was a child. Once Renato cut his father's pants and wore them himself, because they do not like to wear their shorts. His father gets very angry with him about this, and beats him. But Renato still hasn't improved. And now he keeps chasing Melena all the time. And he looked at Melena from the pit he had made. Whereas Melena does not know anything about it. That someone is watching him. Then suddenly this news comes to Melena. Her husband was martyred in the war. Melena gets very upset after hearing this news. And she starts crying. Here we find out that Melena loved her husband very much. When she came to know that her husband had died in the war, then it ends up waiting for him. And one day Renato is working somewhere. Then he overhears people talking about Melena in different ways. He feels as though only he knows the truth about Melena. And now I have to tell everyone that Melena is not a bad woman. And she simply loves her husband. Renato now starts seeing Melena in his father's house as well. And now he starts imagining it. Like Melena has found him, and he says to Melena, "Don't worry, I'm with you." And he speaks his heart to Melena. Next we see Renato go to church. And he prays to God. "Take care of God above Melena, instead I will light candles here every day." And on the other side we see Melena's father. He gets a letter, in which it is written, "Melena's affair is going on with everyone in the city. And your daughter is not a good woman." Hearing this, his father gets very angry. And he now refuses to accept Melena as his daughter. And asks him to leave his house. And now Melena was all alone again. When Renato comes to know about it, that Melena has started living alone again. Then he comes outside her house again. And starts looking at him from the same hole. One night when he goes to Melena's house, then he sees that there is a police officer in his house. It all looked like they were actually having an affair. Renato feels very bad seeing this, and he thinks, "I considered her to be a good woman, and I was about to tell others that Melena is a good woman." But he doesn't believe in it at all. Just then the police officer comes out of the house. And Renato starts hiding from her. When the police officer comes out, then he finds a doctor there. That doctor tells the police officer, "Melena is going to marry me. So what were you doing inside?" And because of this, a fight ensues between the two. Then the police also came there. After this word spreads everywhere in the town. That Melena is having an affair with a married man. And for this he can also be jailed. Now Melena has become very upset. She then goes to a lawyer. And she tells that lawyer, "I need your help," and later he wins that case. And everyone knows this. That the doctor was lying. After winning this case, the same lawyer tries to force Melena. And Melena tries hard to stop him. But she can't do anything. And Renato sees this all happen. And seeing all this, he gets very upset. At the same time, we see the enemy attack in that city. And Melena's father has been murdered. When Melena learns about her father's death, then she becomes very sad. Because now no one was with him. Who could take care of him? And whatever pension Melena used to get because of her husband, it was also stopped because now it was proved, and that's what he should have done. And after a while she takes a scissor and starts cutting her hair. And she thinks, this world calls me a bad woman. So now I have become a bad woman. When Renato sees all this, so he feels bad. And this bothers him a lot. And Renato still stops eating and drinking in Melena's misery. When his father comes to know about it, then his father does the same. Which Renato wanted. His father takes Renato to a place where Renato can fulfill his wish. On the other hand, we see Melena, who had now become a bad woman. And now every man in the city should come to him. And because of this the wives of those people felt very bad. And he is very angry and beats Melena so much and throws him out of town. After that we see Melena's husband has returned. And he's alive. And someone had spread wrong news about Melena's husband. After that he goes to his house. But he sees Melena is nowhere to be seen. Some other people were living in his house and he asks everyone about Melena. And everyone says that your wife has become a bad woman. And now she doesn't live here. When he goes to his friends to find out about it, then his friends make fun of him. And don't support him and these people insult him. And these people beat him and threw him there. When Renato sees it all, so he feels bad. After that, he thinks, only I know the reality of Melena. And now I will tell everyone about Melena that she is a good woman. After this Renato wrote a letter to Melena's husband and told him, Melena is not a bad woman even though the villagers have made her a bad woman. The people of these societies said very bad things about Melena. Melena used to get very upset after hearing these things. Renato has written all this in his letter. And tells Melena's husband what happened to her and how she was evicted from here. When Melena's husband read this letter, he was very angry with the people here. Then he goes back to pick up Melena. After this we see that he comes back to the same city while roaming with his wife. After this all the people of this society start looking towards both. But now everyone respects her because now her husband was with her. All the people of this city have again started respecting Melena. And everyone is happy to see these two together. After this we see in the last scene of the film, Renato meets Melena when some things fall out of Melena's bag. Then Renato picks it up and gives it to Melena. And helps her. He wishes Melena, you have a good future, and after that both of them go on different paths. And this movie ends here. So this was the story of Melena. If you like the story then watch the full movie, and if you want to see more such videos, then subscribe to our channel.